The Saiyans? They're here. I am they. We are one. Unfortunately for you, Omega.
The winter update for Anime Vanguards is almost here, and it honestly looks really, really good. We're getting Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. We might be getting the new lobby. Maybe we might be getting the portal unit, finally, from the World Lines. Overall, a ton of new stuff is coming this update. But before we get into that, if you like hearing me yap, or just find this video helpful, then you should probably subscribe. Or don't. I mean, it's up to you. Alright, so starting off with what I personally think is coming this update, I think it's the winter update. I know a lot of people are speculating that it's the 0.5 update or a point whatever update. Personally, I think it's the winter update. I think the devs doing a winter update close to Valentine's Day just wouldn't work. A lot of games tend to not do that. They tend to already have done their winter updates, and doing it in January is already a bit late for a winter update, so I think if they're going to do one, it'd be now. We might be getting the World Lines portal unit, possibly the return of boss events, and the devs have said they're going to be co-opable. And we also had a previous sneak of something. I'm not too sure what it is. It looks interesting though. It could be an area where you talk to an NPC, like in Anime Adventures where if you talk to Gojo, it teleports you away. Not too sure. But overall, this update seems very Dragon Ball GT based. So starting off with the Dragon Ball GT stuff, the devs sneaked twice now, actually, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta unit. We could potentially be getting fusions in the game finally, kind of similar to AA or even Anime Last Stand, I think, where you might have to get two separate units and fuse them into one. Overall, I really like that mechanic in games like this. I think being forced to get two units and then just fusing them together to make them stronger always works really well. It's always really fun. It gives you more to grind as well. It's overall just a really nice mechanic. Players have also been asking for a Dragon Ball update for a while now, so finally getting something, even if it's just GT, is going to be pretty fun. I think this is a good move from the devs, because at least this way the game will be getting more players now, and it's one of, I'd say, the most popular Dragon Ball characters. One of the most loved, maybe. I know everybody loves Gogeta. The fusions are always just really fan-loved, so it makes sense why the devs would do this. This also might not be limited to GT. We don't really know right now. The devs could definitely just stick to GT to try and avoid copyright, especially since they've said they want to stray away from bigger animes, just so the game doesn't get taken down. But the players really have been wanting something like a Dragon Ball update since the release of the game, so I don't know. It's kind of a lose-lose. I feel like if they do a big update, then they are at risk of getting taken down, but if they don't, then players might be kind of unhappy. And you have other games like Anime Last Stand and Anime Adventures, and they've done Dragon Ball updates, and they're seemingly fine. So, I don't know. Hopefully we get more than just GT, but I think just GT is also a good step in the right direction. Moving on to the other possible stuff this update, I could definitely see the World Lines portal finally getting used now. I don't know. I think if they're doing a winter update, it's probably going to be a bit bigger update. You know, it's going to last a lot longer. Winter updates in most games usually do last longer, or they get extended. You know, they get an extra event, or maybe like a part 2, like extra units. They're usually pretty big updates, so I could definitely see the portal finally being useful now. But these devs have made questionable choices, clearly, so I wouldn't get your hopes up, but it is still a big possibility. And then moving on to boss events, I remember seeing somewhere that the devs wanted the boss events to rotate out sort of weekly. If I can find a screenshot of that or a video or something, I'll put it on screen. I'm not entirely sure, but I do remember seeing that somewhere, so maybe this update could be the start, finally, of weekly boss events that sort of rotate in and out, kind of like the tournament. And the devs also said that they plan to make them co-opable now. They did a poll, and basically everybody voted yes. I mean, the boss events were always really fun, but some of them, like the Sukuna one, were also really challenging, and you couldn't do them with anyone. not even an alt, not even, you couldn't party with just one person or two, it was just you. And long grinds like that, especially in tower defense games, really get boring quickly if you don't have people to play with. Or, I mean, even if you're just trying to macro or grind for a specific unit or something, people tend to invite alts. And although I'm not a big fan of constantly macroing events for units or items or whatever the case may be, because it does sort of ruin the purpose of the game, and it just sort of creates a loop of more grindy content, because the more you macro, the more the devs push out content that's harder, and then it just keeps going and going and going. But even though I'm sort of against that, because it does lead to that, I think even a lot of content creators and a lot of people who don't have a whole lot of time to always play the games do rely on stuff like macros or inviting an extra alt to try and get a unit or something, and not even being able to do that in a boss event is, yeah, people are going to be really unhappy about that. So I could definitely see the co-opable boss events being this update, as well as the return of boss events. And lastly, with the new update, I think we might be finally getting the new lobby. It's been about 2 months now, I think, since the devs started sneak peeking it and telling us to expect the new lobby. And understandably, every update since then, people have been wondering where the lobby is. And I think even last update we were meant to get the new lobby. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I remember there was a pretty big update where we were meant to get the lobby and we didn't, and people were pretty unhappy about that because there's only one map builder at the moment. So I could definitely see the new lobby finally being in this update, because I think that's something that sort of pushed people away from the game, is how small the lobby is and how limited it was for new content, because it's kind of hard to add new content to such a small lobby. So I could definitely see the new lobby finally being this update. I think it's a pretty good time for the devs to finally add something like that, so they can just add new future content and just bring people back to the game. Overall, I'm pretty excited for this update. As I'm recording this, it could be this weekend. I'm posting this really late, or I guess really early on Saturday. I could definitely see it being this weekend or next weekend. I don't think the devs are going to stall as badly as they have in the past. The update seems pretty complete. It seems like they have a lot of content that they could release again, like the boss events and, you know, the portal unit now. I think they have a lot that they can give us this update, even just from past content, and I don't think they're going to want to stall any longer, especially since Anime Adventures is out now. But feel free to let me know what you think. They could stall for another 2 weeks, and we could just never get the update. It might not even be the winter update. It could be a 0.25738 update. It could be really small. Gogeta could be really bad. It could be really hard to get him. The units you need to fuse him could be like Vanguard units that are horrible to get. You never know. The game could just take a really good idea, a really good update with potential, and just throw it out the window. But I'm trying to be hopeful and think that the devs want to do better, and I'm going to trust that they do. Hopefully. I'm not a big fan of GT, but I personally really like Dragon Ball, and I think there's a lot of units that they could use for an update like this, so hopefully they don't drop the ball and they give us a good update. But anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, feel free to like. You can let me know down below what you think this update might be. I even asked in the Anime Vanguards chat what some people expected from this update, what they thought it might be, and no one's really too sure right now. Maybe we'll finally get the portal unit. We could be getting portals as well this update, but I personally doubt it because they haven't sneaked that at all, and that's a pretty big mechanic for tower defense games, I'd say, so I wouldn't count on it, but I could definitely see them soft launching portals by giving us this first portal unit. But anyway, that's all for this video. Again, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. I don't really know what to expect from this update, minus what's been sneaked and potentially the new lobby, so I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks.